To be fair, rent in your area is probably in the negative numbers. You probably have to pay people to stay there.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
It's the only problem. So now I
Being
want to,
helpful.
yeah. So now I want to jump over to Aelin.
Save us.
And Aelin, you've taken Daniela with you on this adventure.
No. She just shows up and follows me. But sure.
Oh, okay. Actually, that's probably more true. She probably does purposely follow you. Obek, do you go with Aelin?
Actually, yes, I would.
It's something you can actually be useful at doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this in this scenario,
right?
Savage.
Sorry.
To be fair, Obek has issues, man. He's got issues getting in and out of this place. And
Obek is having some real issues here.
I mean, he could borrow my cloak.
If only we had Chester.
No, we need someone to survive this.
Yeah, you know who would be good here? Chester and Vi. They'd be great in this city.
Mm-hmm.
Vi would be great in this city.
R.I.P.
So mean. I hope Chester's in
Fucking
this
Will,
city.
out of nowhere, out of left
So
field.
rude.
Really hope Chester's in this city.
And Will bringing the fucking laughter. It's great. You are super savage, Will. So the three of you venture back over to the Resistance HQ, and Aelin, you meet with some of the people that you saved. Some of them didn't follow your advice and went back to their homes because they felt safer there. They didn't want to be involved, but there are certainly a fair amount of the people that you saved who are present here. And you begin asking them and questioning them and stuff, and they're all very grateful, obviously. So what tactic do you use to kind of, like, they're willing to give up information. It's not going to take like a roll to give up information, right? But what exactly are the things that you're looking for? Because they may or may not know.
Sure. I feel as though there's a couple things. One, even prior to said invasion, whatever, outside of the main temple, there had to have been other smaller areas throughout the city that they probably know of that may have even been out in the open. Maybe they weren't even concealed, but smaller shrines or whatnot of Ulrich that maybe at this point people have gravitated towards. You know, they wouldn't even have to know if people have, but they might know where they exist, and that could be a place for us to start. You know,
absolutely. I think that's great. So they tell you of the normal places. So couple of things to note in the Great Park. There was a large statue to Ulrich. But they say that's been destroyed at this time. But they do say that it wasn't defiled like the temple was. So that might be a place to investigate. Certainly.
Do you have mending?
I do.
So there's that. First of all. Let me go statue of Ulrich. Jackson's asking if he's dead yet. Should I tell him?
Yes,
I mean, I would tell him something. I wouldn't necessarily tell him the truth.
Okay, good.
Good.
He's asking in like private messages if he's dead yet.
Tell him that we had to shave.
Yes.
Tell him that we had to shave Hannibal.
So no, but you might not have hair. There we go.
Appropriate.
That's not perfect. He's gonna be like, why the fuck don't I have hair?
So the other place of note is actually this place here, where there is actually an entrance to the underground that the Resistance uses. It is. He said literally the words were "explain yourself." So this is actually, it's not a temple, but it is astronomy tower or astrology tower, whichever one you want to use. Both are appropriate here.
Well, one has a. You know what? Never mind.
Well, no, both are appropriate here because it looks at stars for scientific matters, but also has divine influence because that's what people did back in the day.
Because stars are divine.
Yeah. So it doubles as both. But definitely people talk about, and especially upcoming equinox, this is a very important location that was central to the celebrations, right? Being able to like view the way that the stars were aligned was very important during the equinox, and especially within worship to Ulrich, which again is why it kind of doubles as both. People are weird in this time. So another place is over here, and it was a private garden to a very influential benefactor who put together most of the. In fact, it's probably ancient, right? And that's this location right here, by the way. It is probably ancient, and it is said that the influencer was Sigmar himself, in reverence to Ulrich, built this garden that none may enter. But it is said that it would also repel any, attempt to forcefully interfere with it. And so there's a lot of drama and tension behind it. Who knows how true that is? But with the influence of both Sigmar and Ulrich, it is possible it might have escaped the influence. But I think that the big deal here is the people that you're talking to, they give you the location, but they say that for some reason nobody's seen it. Nobody's been able to view the walls that surround it. But not that they have went out and looked for it. It's just that I was in that area and I don't remember. They seem to have no memory of that place. They're kind of giving you very vague, very interesting descriptions of what goes on there. You would probably suspect bewitchment, because any pointed questions are answered vaguely and it's very unclear.
Well, that's similar to the people who are leaving the temple, correct?
Yes, almost identically so.
Funny.
Ulrich's garden. And I think those are the three primary locations based on your asking.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, I now have a map of my next locations. So
Yeah.
Aelin would thank them graciously, obviously, while also checking that they have adequate food and water and don't need anything else from her.
Yeah, the mayor.
New wood chips.
Yeah, the mayor. I actually forgot what his name was. The mayor specifically. But you meet with him again, and he assures you that everything is okay. And they all appear to be in good health. Their injuries are recovering, but remember how I described after we were in Gerulda's area? They were all beholden to their vices, and some of those vices involved, particularly physical acts, and so there's some permanent damage on some of them, like the skin on that guy's fingers that was playing the guitar probably will never come back. He's probably just going to have to be bandaged all the time forever now. The ones who were eating are going to have problems the rest of their life. They're going to have indigestion and tract problems the rest of their entire life because they gorge themselves so much into near death. So yeah, there's obviously problems there, but they're all recovering, albeit slowly.
Okay, yeah, that's obviously sufficient for her, but she wanted to make sure that with the influx of new people that she sent to him, that he wasn't all of a sudden, in need. So.
Yeah, so I think that the information you get on that is since the dragon, the resistance has been able to coordinate a little bit more. They've been a little bit more free to move about. So people who have had additional supplies have been bringing them in from like the surface areas. They've been more free to like bring more supplies. So yeah, they seem to be doing well.
He doesn't make mention of any. He doesn't care to share any of their current plans with her in passing. She wouldn't ask, but if he happened to mention that they were stockpiling for something in particular,
I don't think he is. Ever since you met him, he's more of the I just need to keep my people safe. You know, whatever happens on the surface happens. We'll survive. He's not a warrior himself. If you remember correctly, he was a tavern owner, right? Who all the people in tavern when the attack happened, he gathered them all up and brought them into the cellar, which had a secret entrance into the underground. And ever since then, he's been just collecting. And he didn't even want to be the leader. They just kind of made him the leader, right? So he's not concerned with the overall like those types of things. Maybe trying to find some other leaders of the resistance would definitely yield better results on that, though.
Sure. Well, I guess that she would also then tell him that she may be sending him more, so be ready.
Yeah, absolutely, right? Yeah, that's definitely something you coordinate probably at that time. Like, hey, make some room because I'm going to start, we're going to try and evacuate as many people as we can. So figure out some places where it's going to be the Helm's Deep, right, where all the women and children are all piled in the underground. So yeah, and I think he sets to work doing that and preparing for that. Cool. So you have a roadmap. Which one of these locations would you like to visit first?
Obek would speak up and suggest the Great Park. Yeah.
The one with the statue?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sure. It's as good a place to start as any.
It would be the easiest to figure out if anyone is there or not.
Yeah. So, as you head off towards the statue of Ulrich, obviously, Obek, you make it in such a way that you can maneuver around. It's probably like dawn or dusk where there's not too much movement around, or there's not too many eyes on you when it's a little bit darker out.
Very heavy cloak makes me look like a small child. Right,
exactly. And Aelin, obviously, you're probably wearing like some drab gray clothing over your bright, shiny white robes.
I still have my whatever getup that they put me in before.
Right, exactly. And Danielle obviously goes sans armor. She keeps her greatsword on her back, like probably hidden behind a cloak. Any like actual inspection would reveal it, but at least just a passing glance probably would be able to remain hidden. Also, she's like a giant, kind of, so she might actually pass for a Norse woman, to be fair. So probably not too big a deal with that. So you all head over to the park, which is pretty absent in the grand scheme of things. Not a lot of people come out to the Great Park and have picnics nowadays, for obvious reasons. Thank you, Will. I appreciate that. So the one thing is, though, you'll notice right here by the statue, there's this big orange blob, which was when Morella went on her mission to kill that poor peasant. She discovered that there was a lot of damage from the dragon in this area, and it seems to have fallen just behind where the statue sat, luckily for you guys.
He was more than just a peasant.
Keep telling yourself that. So when you arrive, you can see that the statue of Ulrich, who it appears that the original shape was Ulrich with two large like dire wolves next to him. in this big like fur cloak that had like the big wolf head that comes over it. The eyes were obviously like ablaze with some gemstones that have been pried out since then, probably long before anything else happened. Has been toppled over and shattered in like 4 or 5 pieces that kind of lay across the grass. And it's also very overgrown. In fact, you probably have to like look around a little bit, and then finally, you know, Obek, you hold up your hand from the deep grass and be like, "Hey, it's over here." And you find the base of where the statue is, and basically the only thing left standing on the base is like the feet of Ulrich himself, as well as like maybe portions of the wolves that have been smashed down onto the statue. Can you make me a roll? The two of you, actually both of you, can you make me investigation rolls, please?
Obek is not
Well,
not
Obek,
very,
you found the statue, and that's good enough, buddy.
Jesus. And I'm like bad at that, so damn.
Well, I think that you kind of know what you're looking for, right? You're looking for some sign or some divine inspiration here. And so you do a couple of laps around like the different pieces that have fallen off and broken. And you stumble across one of Ulrich's hands that appears to be clenched in a fist. And as you bend down to inspect it, you can see that you can kind of feel that kind of you're drawn towards it a little. And you can see that the statue has been broken. But the fist appears to be hollow. And it's been shattered off of the arm. And as you kind of pick it up and look inside, there appears to be an object kind of inside. It's dark, and you know how like that when you're looking into a vase, doesn't matter what angle you put the light at, you can't see because it's just so light just doesn't enter it well. But you can hear something kind of like rolling around in there.
I put my hand into it and take it out.
You become the Hulk, obviously.
Yes. Hulk smash.
You know that barbarian you want to play? You are now.
Yes, this is how it happens. This is the origin story. Oh yes. Sorry.
You actually just become Doomfist from Overwatch. No, but I think you place your hand in it and you grab it out and you feel a prick on your finger.
Am I now bleeding?
Yeah, and you pull it out, and it's like if somebody had pricked your finger. There's like just a little droplet of blood that appears. So more carefully this time, knowing that there's something sharp in there, you reach in and you pull it out, and you find that there is, it looks like a little miniature, like maul that has a spike on one end and the hammer. In fact, looking at it, you can tell that it appears to look like a hammer of Sigmar. Like a warhammer of Sigmar, but it's a miniaturized version. It's perhaps only 2 to 3 inches tall. But that spike on the top is just abnormally sharp. And you remove this and you set it in your hand, and it also feels very heavy. For its size, very dense, whatever metal. It's very clearly metal. It's cold to the touch. But you're not sure what it is. Very strange object. The artwork in it is very intricate, though. You can see like the design of the hilt and pommel are very very intricately done. Obviously, like with jeweler's tools, no blacksmith would have formed something like this. Their tools are far too barbaric.
Yeah, so I would kind of hold it up to the other two to see if it makes any sense to them.
Yeah.
Ooh, what is that?
I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but it certainly is sharp. And then I would hand it over to Obek if he wants a closer inspection.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and you take it in your hand, you feel all the same things that I described.
I don't think this was here when they made the statue. So that's probably pretty obvious.
Sorry.
Brilliant.
Yes, I certainly think it was brought here later. Do you see any other parts of the statue around? Maybe see if any of those are hollow also.
Does Obek see any parts of the statue around?
Do you think with the 3 you saw any other parts of the statue that looked
And by
particularly
him, I
interesting?
mean me. Do I look around and see any other parts of the statue around?
Yeah, so now that you know what you're looking for, you go over and you look around and you look at the smaller parts a little bit more, and you find the other hand, and it's still attached to the arm, but like just like the half of the forearm. So it's like not unwieldy enough that you wouldn't be able to like pick it up and manipulate it. And I think that if you pick it up, you can tell that the hand portion is much lighter than the rest of it. It's very dense on the side of the forearm as opposed to the side of the closed. Like the hand in this one is actually outstretched, like it was like petting like one of the wolves maybe.
Because that's obviously all you do with wolves is pet them.
Yeah, I think I
The
hand.
best use for wolves.
I mean, true.
Good doggo.
I think I like heft it a little bit and then hand it to Obek and I like pray quietly and then say, "Would you do the honors?"
It's a good thing you said you prayed quietly.
Obek uses his dexterity to look inside of said arm.
So the arm itself is solid.
No,
I think
break
she's telling you to break the hand off.
Obek looks at her very disturbed because he didn't see her break the other hand, and just kind of wonders what she's pointing to before handing it to her and accidentally dropping it on the ground.
Yeah, appropriate.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Daniela like visibly face palm shakes her head. And it hits the ground and you can see like cracks off. And the hand itself kind of crumbles a little bit more, and you can see clearly now, kind of lying on top, is another small figurine. And instead of the hammer of Sigmar this time, it appears to be, for lack of a better term, a small wolf figurine inside of there, which would be representative of Ulrich, right? Because the wolf itself, and I think this is what more represents it, appears to be clad in armor specifically designed for it.
Now, would I know that this is like a typical thing that me personally, like I'm asking, is this like a normal thing that people would do, is to hide smaller, intricate charms in a larger?
Absolutely, that's definitely like a
Okay.
like a thing that people
Okay.
who does it is depending. Sometimes they are built with the intention of hiding something, and sometimes it is an afterthought of somebody else.
Sure. Yeah, I get that.
That's where like the difference is here. Like Obek
Yeah.
said, these were put here after the statue, but it's possible they weren't. It's possible the statue was casted around this particular feature.
Which is why I asked the question, like,
Yeah.
is this clearly somebody who's trying to re-imbue said statue, or was this something that was intended? Is kind of like my question. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's obvious that it was intended, but somebody could have hacked off the hands and put new ones on with magic and made it seem like it was part of the original formation, right? Like, absolutely.
Okay.
Cool. So, armed with that knowledge, before you head off to your second object of interest, I want to bring it back to the rest of the party as kind of an overall theme, real quick. So, I guess for clarity's sake, we can say that perhaps that takes you most of the day, and we get a meeting again of the minds back at the hovel. where all the information is dumped. Because the one thing that I don't want to do is I want to make sure that everybody is aware of everything, so you don't feel like you're metagaming when you deal with things that I've explained here. So we have a scene where everybody is explained of everything, and Obek, specifically, in order to enact the part of the plan, and let me go to my notes so I don't have it directly, the distraction at the West Gate from the Lizardmen, or even the showing of force at the West Gate, I assume that's still part of the plan here?
I believe so.
Okay.
I haven't heard differently.
Yeah, because there was also suggestions of maybe we should just bring the army in through the West Gate. Or maybe we should do it both through the West Gate and the South Gate. But also you have more information now that you can work with. Granted, you don't have any priests yet for that part of the plan, but that's something we can certainly have happen with haste.
Keep working on it.
Easy.
So, Obek, you have to go out and figure out a way to get out of the city in order to relay information, right?
Correct.
Yeah, cool. So,
Obek does have an idea about how to do that. He is a rather adept climber, and the West Gate is rather open.
okay. So you want to simply just take it upon yourself with that information. So, the question that I asked the party is, what information do you all give to Obek? Now, you'll be able to communicate back and forth with different methods of communication, but this is the one chance that you all have to get, like, super clear information out to Kree outside.
Yeah.
So what do you do with that opportunity to get super clear information?
Do we have a specific time in mind yet for when we might want them to hit the gate? Anybody?
My best guess would be either the close to the day of they
Should we just
arrive.
assume that we're aiming for the equinox, or
Yeah, that was my.
I would assume maybe a day or two before, so they can actually secure a gate before the army gets there.
For a whole day. That's a lot of time to secure a gate.
That's a good point. Especially since they would have time to react, right? Because it's like, the point is you want to secure a location before they have time to react.
Yes.
unless the idea is that we try to secure the West Gate and they're so busy reacting to that a different line of entry is
True.
open to us.
That's very true as well.
Jericho's running really hard on the misdirection ideas.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay. So perhaps like the day of, right? Like if you plan to attack in the morning, maybe the night of, right? Like maybe you make it an even bigger misdirection by attacking at night. Which I think plays into the bear riders would also be advantageous at night versus during the day.
Because bears.
Cause bears. So that's the thing to consider too. Maybe like the night before the army is to march on the gates, that's when you try and secure it and cause that night of panic. Because what it also does is it causes the defenders to have to react at a time they will not be ready to, and then perhaps tire them out or make them less ready to fight the main force. Right? That might be a suggestion there.
As long as we're talking about information that we want to get out to the others, someone who has a direct line to Cahill should probably let him know that the South Gate might be some kind of horrifying monster that will eat anybody who tries to enter through.
Yeah, I'm curious as to
Yeah,
how
but-
Aelin reacts to that.
I was
To
gonna
be
say,
fair,
like, who tells Aelin and how is like.
Probably Morella. Tell
Oh
us.
no!
Because I was waiting for that, because okay, well, if Morella is, go for it.
I think it'd be coming across as, wow, I'm no expert, but I believe they changed the southern gate to perhaps a large demonic demon mouth creature.
What makes you think that? What did you see, Morella?
The gate itself has the presence of a demon. It breathed.
This is the gate we expect the army to come through. That obviously cannot happen.
Right. So we either deal with this gate or we
Question
find
mark.
another way. Yeah. Or we find another way.
Yes, this is something the army needs to know immediately. Excuse me. She just takes off.
Yeah, just gets
We're
up to
working
send a
on it.
message.
We
Yeah,
have a plan, sort of.
absolutely.
Do
Do
we ever have a proper
we?
plan?
Do we?
Yeah, we just get the thinking bubble of Jericho with Morella stabbing the thing till it dies. So
That might work.
Oh, come on. Like, Morella wouldn't love that idea.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Right?
It's a big demon. A big scary gate demon. So
Also, thank you, Liam, for playing along with the joke. Jackson asked, "What the hell did you do to me?" And you said, "You're super aerodynamic now." That's what he gets. This is honestly what he gets. This is his fault.
Yeah,
Um,
this is his fault. Oh man.
So,
Yeah.
obviously, Kree or Obek is going to relay to Kree all of the information that is relevant that you found already. But the reason why I think it's important to make sure we send Obek out now is because they're going to need time to do a thing, right? They're just currently sitting there. We can't spend all 7 days preparing and then be like, hey, by the way, can you do this? That's why I really think that right now, with the information that you have, the plan still is to have them go to the gate, create a distraction, make a show of force, and then perhaps try and take the gate or not, depending on how the rest of it plays out. Is that accurate as to what we want to instruct those people to do?
that is most of the plan. That is the most of a plan that we have so far.
Cool.
Sounds
Awesome.
about it.
So, Obek, why don't you said you want to escape with some perhaps stealth and athletics acrobatics here, as far as your climbing is concerned, right?
Is there any way I can find a grappling hook? Just by the off chance.
So because you understand what a grappling hook is, you could try and fashion one. Sure.
Oh, that's perfect, because then I can just make a single person rope bridge.
Yeah, you could certainly try.
I can try.
So you find a hook of some sort of piece of metal, and you have rope. Everybody has rope. Rope is always a thing that people have. So you're going to go under the cover of night, I assume. Toss up your grappling hook, try and scale the wall back down, and then head out the west gate, right?
How far across is the bridge to the other side?
Probably I don't know. I want to say probably 1,000 feet or so.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so yeah, then yeah.
They're big, long. Remember, they have to get over the entire gorge thing that
Right.
is separating.
So yes, then climb back up the other side.
Yeah,
as quickly as possible. That's what the grappling hook's for.
Yes. How could you? Yep.
Yep.
So why don't you make me an athletics or acrobatics check to first scale the wall successfully, and then we'll have you make a stealth check with advantage. It's dark out to complete your trek across the bridge without any prying eyes.
Ooh.
So this is not a success failure per se. except for the fact that I think that Obek, you have some struggles going to and from, and I
My
think
grappling
that
hook is not
well,
well
I think that what happens is at one point a guard comes over and you're forced to silence him.
That would definitely be an issue.
And like maybe you stab him and then toss him over the wall into the gorge or something.
Or it's right when I'm like starting to go down and he sees the hook comes over and I just pull him over the edge.
Right, yeah, exactly. Maybe that's even better, right? It's like right as you're starting to go down, he comes over and you see the torch following, and then like you're just waiting, and you see the torch come out over the wall, and then you grab him and you toss him over. So there'll be a little bit of conflict there when it comes to actually, there's going to be some questions asked of somebody about what happened. Whether or not they're able to figure that out accurately is another. But why don't you go ahead and make me a stealth check with advantage?
Okay. Whew, okay.
All right. 11
These
still
are
isn't.
fantastic.
You were rolling just stellar today.
Yes.
So an 11 is enough to get you across the bridge, certainly. But I think that as you get across, you start to hear shouts because, again, 11 isn't great. Maybe the guy was screaming as you tossed him off. And as you get across the bridge, you look back, and you can see there's a couple of torches over where you tossed the guy across. Essentially, something has been detected because of that. But you make it out with your own life and head off towards where they are. Now,
Fantastic.
here is the part where I say, I totally fucking forgot to give us a break. I was just in it. I was in it to win it. So, why don't we do this? Let's take a break. Let's be back at 10 till the hour. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Works for me.
So, let's be back at 10 till the hour. We'll take a little bit of a longer break today. And we'll continue on with the last hour of our session here. Okay?
I can finally do.
Yes.
Me too.
I apologize. I didn't remember.
That
All
is
right.
not enough time for the last for the session.
Yeah,
I need
no,
more
we'll be fine. We're gonna accelerate things a little bit. It'll be cool. All right, we're gonna take a little bit of a break, and we'll see everyone for the last hour in just a second. Goodbye.